Hi, good morning. I am Antriksh at Anti-Digest Work from Home. Earlier, when the pandemic started, I decided to pick up a hobby of gardening. So currently, I have some herbs planted, some flower plants, and some climbers. At the same time, when the pandemic started, I also started collecting these boxes, which I thought would be useful for storing stuff. But now I have too many of them. Now I have two options. Either I can just throw these away, or I can use them somewhere else. Using them as planters look like a good way to make use of these boxes. So, what are the steps that I would need to take to add more plants to my collection?
So the first step in the process is to make proper holes at the bottom of these boxes. These holes allow for proper drainage of water, which eventually allows for adequate air to the roots. As you can see, I have used a knife here, and I would not recommend using a knife. I would recommend using a drill if you have one. I did not have one, so I had to use the knife. I also stored the lids of these boxes to serve as water holders when I water these plants.
And everything is ready. And now for step 2, potting mix.
For step 2, I had to get to my patio where I keep all my potting mix. The potting mix that I'm putting in the planters here is from Expert Gardener. You can use this potting mix for indoor plants as well as outdoor plants. It also feeds the potted plants for up to 6 months. In the past, I've used other potting mixes from Miracle Grow as well, and they seem to serve similar purpose. As a disclaimer, I would like to say that this video is not sponsored by either Expert Gardener or Miracle Grow. For your reference, I'll leave a link to a couple of potting mixes that I've used in the past or the one that I'm using right now in the description below so that you can look for the same. Till date, I've actually gotten almost about 6 cubic feet of potting mix. All my plants that you saw before, as well as all these planters that I'm filling in with potting mix, were filled with almost 6 cubic feet of potting mix.
Perfect. And we're done with filling up our boxes with potting mix. On to step 3, sowing the seeds.
This right here, you see that? I had to make a decision for all of these planters. What seeds to grow in which planters? The long planters, as you can see in this, seemed very useful for plants that grow roots deep into the soil. I had been wanting to grow tomato plants for a long time, and with them having deep roots, these planters seemed best for their growth. Also, see how I've used tomato slices instead of seeds? The slices will give you the same process because they have those seeds. You can also take out the seeds from those slices, wash them properly, and then sow them. I'm just a lazy person, so I would just go with slices rather than actually having to work to take out the seeds. And here I've just covered these up with about 1/2 inch to 1 inch of soil. Next thing, I'll move on to some herbs that I got from the market. These are different kinds of seeds. These are very small seeds, and you'll just see me pour all of these or most of these into one or two of the containers over here. And then you'll have to spend some time to cover these up with soil. Most of these are supposed to be sown at some depth of soil. If you're buying packets like these, you'll find it on the packet how deep they should be sown, I've pretty much used the recommendation given on the packet for the sowing depth of each of these herb seeds. And that, you see that thing in my left hand? That's a seed disc. You'll also get those in the market. And those are pretty much just put in the soil, sow it at some depth, and water it every day. That's about it. You see that other planter with already sown leaves, the one I'm looking at? So that's another way of planting. Just cut off a stem from an already growing plant and sow it. It should be able to grow roots and into a full plant again. This was me experimenting with the same thing here. In the future though, I do find out that the mint plant I have sown here started to die. So I moved it to a water planter and I am trying to grow some roots in that water planter before I pot it again. I moved all of these planters, once sowed with seeds, to my patio. I also kind of created my own cheap replacement for a garden hose by recycling a Coca-Cola bottle to serve the purpose. And that is our fourth and the final step of the process: watering the plants. Even though I say final, this part of planting will have to be done every day consistently.